Yes, that's right. It's 2020, and I'm using a VHS camera to make a video of a VHS camera. But not just any VHS camera. You know, on the surface, it doesn't really look like a whole lot. And I'm sure that when I turn on the video light, this isn't really, well, really didn't help, did it? But you can see here that it says Philips on it. And by the title, you'll know that this is a Philips VHS Explorer. The story behind this is that this is courtesy of Matt S78MN. Picked this up. I think it was actually meant for me. I don't remember the circumstances behind it. I know I've got a Mavica sitting around here that was, but I think this was the same deal. But it was brought down for a little swap meet, and, well, obviously ended up coming home via the Apartment of Good Ideas. But anyway, here it is in all of its glory. Now this is a very interesting case, and apparently it's also very difficult to open. I'm not sure why it's so difficult. I wonder, you know, if I can actually do this on camera. I wonder why. There we go. Alright. All hail the shoulder cam. Anyway, if you go ahead and we have a look, it's probably going to break something. Let's see if we can lean this down in a way that won't break absolutely everything. Here we have the operating instructions for the S-VHS Philips S-VHS Video Movie. That's a very Panasonic thing. Or sorry, no, not Panasonic, JVC. JVC used to say, you know, video movie, compact video movie. The GRC7 and the GR60 that I've had in the past are like that. There's the model. I don't know if that's the model of this. I suspect that it is. And this is what it comes with. It is the VHS Explorer, or at least that's what everything online seems to suggest that this is. There's space here for something. I don't know what would have gone there. I'm going to put the manual there. Underneath this, I think I've got stashed the... yeah, there is the tape, which we will look at here in a minute. Here, of course, is the camera itself. All I think I really got with this was the manual, the camera, and the power supply, but of course that's all I really need. I've got more than enough video cables. I never really use any of the RF modulators, and if I want a video light, well, I'll just use one of the cameras that has a video light, such as the one that I'm using right now. Alright, let me get this out of its carrier here, and we will go ahead and then look at it, and then try it out. So here it is, and again, I think the video light, well, it's a little bit more useful on this. But anyway, let's have a quick look at the controls here. But it's pretty standard stuff. I mean, you got your fader, you've got your backlight compensation, high-speed shutter, which I don't think either... No, this camera's got it. But I don't think the PV320D does. It might have the high-speed shutter functionality. There's a time-lapse function, there's your white balance switch, there's an S-VHS switch. So, that's when you can actually record regular VHS to an S-VHS tape. You cannot record S-VHS to a regular VHS tape, or the so-called S-VHS ET mode. This does not support that. In fact, it might even predate it. You got your usual date time set functions. I will need to put a new battery in this, and similar to this GE that I'm using right now, it takes a non-standard battery. It's like an LR1130, I think. If you buy the Energizers, it's 389. Probably other different indications as well. I really don't know. But anyway, there's your counter, recording review. There's a manual focus down there, or focus control. Of course, it's got the manual lens with the real focus lens, focus ring, I should say. If we go up to the top, I have reason to believe that this is nothing more than a rebadged Panasonic camcorder. I mean, the design certainly strikes me as just being very Panasonic. In fact, let me go get the PV320D. You know, we'll just compare and contrast here. Alright, so now we can go ahead and have a look, and definitely the control layout, I mean, it's different. you could definitely tell that it's not quite the same. There's the 320D right there. And here is the S-VHS, or sorry, the VHS Explorer. I don't know why they don't call it an S-VHS Explorer. That's kind of odd, but they don't. But I do believe that this unit has a CRT. I can't remember though. This one definitely has a color LCD, but it's pretty much the same design. You can see this ridiculous windscreen on here. I don't know if this is original or not. I don't think it is. And I think I was actually told the answer to that question. I just forget what the answer was. Oops. But definitely overall, same general controls. This one's actually slightly different in that it uses a button for the high-speed shutter rather than a slide switch. But other than that, everything seems to be, fairly standard. The lens is slightly different. I mean, they are slightly different, but they're not the same basic design. This is obviously S-VHS, where this is not. And I think they're roughly the same age, but of course, they've got multiple different models for all of that. Now, this does have a color LCD viewfinder, but it's not very good. You can tell that it's obviously a super twisted pneumatic display. Ghosts pretty badly. The contrast really kind of sucks. But, I mean, if you put a regular TFT display in there, it would have drove the cost up insanely. Because TFTs back in those days were obscenely expensive. Okay, so I actually, while I was down in the so-called party house, I actually shot some test footage using this camera. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch to that test footage.
Line in the front.
And the tally light. Power zoom.
Oh geez, now you probably got an extreme close-up on my face. How far does that zoom in?
I actually have no idea. 68 millimeter, probably. Or, I don't know. Whatever the case may be. It does actually work. I'm gonna have to digitize this.
Oh jeez. Need some random camera test footage? Because who doesn't like random camera test footage?
The only thing we need now is a Blueberry iMac G3. That would make it complete.
Welcome to 1986.
Let's see.
I was 4 years old back then.
Yeah.
There's the macro, which is the only thing that I can say is bad about these. Alright, the video that you just saw was recorded using this tape right here. Or recorded on this tape using the VHS Explorer. This is a regular VHS tape. I do not have any S-VHS tapes in my possession. And I don't know what happened, but at some point, somewhere along the way, I don't think it'll focus on that, but apparently the recording got a little messed up. It seemed to be okay down at the party house, but this tape actually made it back with me, I think. Yes, no, this tape would have come back with me, and the problem with that is that there's all manner of things that could have happened to it, and it probably happened while it was in here because I haven't kept the best care of this tape ever, and it's fallen on the floor and things like that. So I've wagered a bet that it's just because the tape has degraded and all of that. But rest assured, I mean, you saw it on the New Year's video. The camera records decent video. Although it was mentioned that the GE over there and this Panasonic that I'm using right now actually had better picture quality than this did, which is very interesting because this is actually newer than this Panasonic right here. And by the way, please forgive the fact that it says 1990 on the date. This camera does not go past the year 1999, so it is not Y2K compliant. But not in the same way that the so-called Y2K bug. It's not quite the same. It wraps around to 1986 when you go past 99. So I've set it to 1990, and I'll continue setting it like that into the 2030s, as long as the camera actually survives that long, which it may or may not. I mean, it's got back capacitors, which could result in the camera dying at any point in time. I can tell you for sure that yes, this has a black and white CRT viewfinder, just like the GE back there. And also, I think there was one other thing that I had mentioned about this camera, and I don't remember exactly what it was. However, there's the GE back there. And so what we're going to do now is we are actually going to go ahead and shift over to the VHS Explorer and see what its picture looks like. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, the camera I'm using now, the PV320D, was made in December of 1987. This camera was made in September of 1988. The VHS Explorer and the GE is from September of 1989. So of course it makes sense that this has the best picture of them all because it's the newest and thus has the best CCD image sensor. When this camera was made, in fact this PV320D is the first Panasonic camcorder that you could get with a CCD image sensor. So the early CCDs were really not all that great. Really poor low light sensitivity. I mean, this is okay, but then again, it's in rather high lighting conditions. So we'll see how this does. But when you put it in low light, it really doesn't do too well. So I think without further ado, I'm going to stop yanking and we'll go ahead and we'll shift over to this camera. And here we are with the Philips VHS Explorer S-VHS camera. This is with the massive windscreen on the microphone. And here is the GE camcorder. If you can actually see it, it's kind of a little difficult to see. This is the CG9911. You might be able to, I think I'm going to flip it upside down here in order to show you the control layout. Probably could put the video light on this, but I don't think it's got a connection point for it. You can get an idea as to what the controls are like. This one actually has, the GE has a so-called camera edit mode, which will let you, seek through the tape and do linear editing. Of course, it's not really worth much, but you take what you can get when you're working with these older cameras. So we'll just, give a little bit of a demonstration. Here's the power zoom in operation. Definitely do get a fair bit of zoom on that. I'm not sure if that's in focus. It certainly looks like it's in focus, but I think it's drifting around a bit because it's looking at a couple other things as well. Of course, you saw the macro mode. But I think this works fairly well, even for a camera with an early CCD image sensor such as this one. I don't know if this is going to work because I can't remember if this is actually plugged in or not, but we gotta have tradition. Apparently not. Or maybe the keyboard's just unplugged. I guess I'll find out here shortly. Probably won't focus on that. I think it's too close. I don't think we're going to get any focus on that. No, it's too close. Definitely hear a little bit of tape motor noise with this camera, but it's certainly not too bad. I've heard worse. I think it's working fairly well for what it is. Everybody likes to see the cat on video, so here is the cat on video. Not very happy about being on video. Well, now he's interested in the camera. Trying to get some focus on you. These are fairly effective low light conditions. See, we don't get much. So I think that's the brightest light. There. Actually, it would be. That's a 100 watt equivalent LED light. Somebody was mentioning that the stuff that I set off in the New Year's video was a lot of clocks. Trust me, what I set off as the top 2 bins there are 3 more bins worth underneath that. There is a lot. I haven't got rid of any of them. It's just more of a pain to get them all set up and find outlets for all of them, and more importantly, shut them all off when one needs to do so. Tell that's pretty dated. It's definitely the one negative thing about this whole ordeal using an older camera like this, is that you have to tie yourself in to a power supply, which can get fairly annoying. The camera definitely works. Nobody asked for your opinion. Go dang yourself somewhere else. Okay, well, no, I really can't see much over there. That's not really all that visible, at least not on the LCD. I don't know if you can see it in the final video product. Probably once video compression gets done with it, it'll disappear entirely anyway. That was a little frightening. See if it'll focus on that. That sounded great. Ugh, China Pride. I hate it. That light switch plate is ridiculous. Of course, it's also real ceramic. And this plastic junk that's pretty much everywhere else. I find it interesting to note that they went ahead and installed all new piping for both the intake and exhaust for the furnace. But they're not exactly straight, or straight through. You can see that definitely got a little interesting there. But I guess whatever works. Of course, I almost forgot. Speaking of piping, here you can see that one, which I still don't think has been done properly. Looks like it's about to fall out again. So, gonna need to invest in some duct tape, like, you know, that furnace tape, that very shiny stuff that they usually use on ductwork. Probably gonna have to invest in some of that. We probably have some of that, but just too lazy to install it. It smells like laundry in here. I wonder what all this piping is for. It must be a drain pipe for one of the sinks, or something similar. Then there's that big black one right beside it. For the toilet, maybe? Anyway. Okay, I figure I should probably finish up this video. Just needing the time. Here is another low light test. Maybe I see a little bit of ghosting effect, which you usually see in tube cameras, but that's probably just the LCD, the viewfinder, given its super twisted pneumatic or passive matrix display. So, but I think that's going to do it for this video, so thank you for watching. If you have any comments. Oh, there's one more thing I have to do. That was take the windscreen off. So this is what the thing sounds like without the windscreen. I'll go ahead and reinstall the windscreen. And that should be it for the video. This is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Till then.